Julia knew she was smart. She was one of those clever children, the kind of children who figures out early on that parents aren't all-powerful and all-knowing. The first time she realized this was when she got scared. There had been a noise in her room coming from under her bed or from the closet. Julia ran down the hall crying, "Mommy, Daddy." "What's wrong, honey?" "I heard a monster." Julia glubbed. She expected them to comfort her or roll their eyes or get annoyed. Instead, they jumped up immediately and raced to her bedroom, where they checked under the bed, inspected the closet, and tested the window lock. They poked, prodded, and scoured every inch. Julia caught on quickly. She knew what they were doing. By taking her fear seriously, they were showing her little girl that she was safe and loved. They had probably read about it in some book, but the lesson Julia learned was that she had power. Thereafter, waking her parents became a nightly event. Julia would scream and cry, they would rush into her bedroom, and Julia would hide her grin behind tears. But not once did they ever complain. One night she could stand it no longer, and she burst out laughing when Daddy fell down while examining the light fixture as if a monster could fit up there. "What's so funny?" he asked, rubbing his backside. "You," Julia smirked. "You always believe me." Daddy wasn't angry. He just looked at Mommy. "Once," he said quietly. "Just once. We didn't believe your brother." And Julia, an only child, did not sleep well that night. We bought an old house, my boyfriend and I. He's in charge of the new construction, converting the kitchen to the master bedroom, for instance, while I'm on wallpaper removal duty. The previous owner papered every wall and ceiling. Removing it is brutal, but oddly satisfying. The best feeling is getting a long peel, similar to your skin when you're peeling from a sunburn. I don't know about you, but I kinda make a game of peeling, on the hunt for the longest piece before it rips. Under a corner section of paper in every room is a person's name and a date. Curiosity got the best of me one night, when I googled one of the names and discovered the person was actually a missing person. The missing date matching the date under the wallpaper. The next day I made a list of all the names and dates. Sure enough, each name was for a missing person with dates to match. I notified the police, who naturally sent out the crime scene team. I overheard one text say, "Yup, it's human." "Human? What's human?" "Ma'am, where is the material you removed from the walls already? This isn't wallpaper you were removing." I used to live in a small building downtown. One of the reasons I moved out was the bad neighborhood, including this guy in the apartment right over mine. He was a weird-looking fella who mostly kept to himself. Around midnight, though, there was frequently a strange noise that got on my nerves. It wasn't loud, to be fair, but I have really light sleep, so it was hard to get my eyes shut with those little bumping sounds going on and on. It reminded me of high heels walking about, but not as loud. As if the person causing the noise was actually trying to be silent. After a few days, I realized the pattern was always the same, like a recording played over and over with random intervals in between. And that went on for the best part of a year. Always the same sequence of bumps, slowly tattooed into my mind, sometimes for hours straight during the night. It was only several years later, helping my daughter with her homework, that I learned a little bit of Morse code. She knocked on the table with her knuckles, and a shiver immediately went through my spine as I recognized that exact pattern. When I asked her what it meant, she laughed. "It's the easiest one, Daddy," she said. "It's the one to call for help." Everyone loves the first day of school, right? New year, new classes, new friends. It's a day full of potential and hope, before all the dreary depressions of reality show up to ruin all the fun. I like the first day of school for a different reason, though. You see, I have a sort of power. When I look at people, I can sense a sort of aura around them. A colored outline based on how long that person has to live. Most everyone I meet around my age is surrounded by a solid green hue, which means they have plenty of time left. A fair amount of them have a yellow-orangish tinge to their auras, which tends to mean a car crash or some other tragedy. Anything that takes people before their time, as they say. The real fun is when the auras venture into the red end of the spectrum, though. Every now and again, I'll see someone who is basically a walking stoplight. Those are the ones who get murdered or kill themselves. It's such a rush to see them and know their time is numbered. With that in mind, I always get to class very early so I can scout out my classmates' fates. The first kid who walked in was basically radiating red. I chuckled to myself. Too damn bad, bro. But as people kept walking in, they all had the same intense glow. I finally caught a glimpse of my rose-tinted reflection in the window, but I was too stunned to move. Our professor stepped in and locked the door. His aura, a sickening shade of green. If you're reading this note, I'm sorry. I assume you're in the same situation as me. That smug bastard drugged you and dumped you in these catacombs, with only a candle to find your way out. I don't know how many people he's done this to, but there have probably been a lot. He wouldn't spend so much time on it otherwise. Would he? He told me the catacombs were a maze, and he set traps and deadfalls at every turn. But he promised there's one safe way out, if I'm lucky enough to guess the correct path. I'm not lucky. I'm just an art student here on holiday. There's no way I'm getting out alive, but I want someone to. I want revenge. I'm sure you do too, so let's help each other. I still have my sketchbook and pencils. Before each turn, I'm going to leave them behind for the next person, writing down which way I went. If I've survived to another passageway, I'll come back and leave a page like this one. If I don't, then it's up to the next person to carry on and go the opposite direction. Eventually, if we keep leaving breadcrumbs, one of us will escape, get to the police, and find that bastard. Do it for those who didn't make it. My name is Jeff. I went left here. Reading the note by candlelight, you feel a glimmer of hope, until you realize you're reading from the sketchbook itself. Jeff never returned to tear out the page, and you're the first person here since him. You look to your right where the dark maze waits.